Welcome to Idlewood, your home for real updates and honest analysis on MapleStory Idle. As we all know, MapleStory Idle RPG is still in its early life cycle, and that fact alone makes every upcoming update especially important. When a game is only a few months old, design decisions made during this phase tend to shape its long-term identity, progression pacing, and player retention model. In this report, we will go through what is officially confirmed regarding upcoming updates for MapleStory Idle RPG, what has already been implemented since launch, and what can reasonably be expected based on Nexon's historical update patterns for mobile and idle RPG titles. Speculation will be clearly separated from confirmed information. Let's begin with the current state of the game. MapleStory Idle RPG launched globally in November 2025 on Android and iOS platforms. Since release, Nexon has already demonstrated that this title is not intended to remain static. Multiple post-launch updates have introduced new gameplay systems, including Party Quest content, Guild War functionality, in-game events, and expansions to growth dungeons and chapter progression. This establishes an important baseline. Nexon is actively developing MapleStory Idle RPG as a live service title rather than a minimal maintenance idle game. Now let's move on to what has been officially confirmed regarding upcoming updates. According to Nexon's official communications and patch-related announcements, the development focus for upcoming updates is centered around three primary areas. The first area is Party Quest improvements. Nexon has acknowledged the need for better matchmaking and accessibility within Party Quest systems. This suggests that Party Quest is being positioned as a more central progression feature rather than optional side content. Improved matchmaking typically signals a shift toward cooperative efficiency. In practical terms, this may result in faster group formation, reduced waiting time, and more consistent access to rewards tied to party-based gameplay. The second confirmed focus area is chapter expansion. Additional chapters and progression stages have been explicitly mentioned as part of upcoming updates. This is particularly relevant for mid-game players, especially those between levels 40 and 60, where progression currently begins to slow down. New chapters generally introduce fresh enemy scaling, new experience sources, and additional material rewards. From a progression standpoint, this tends to alleviate known leveling walls without requiring direct power creep. The third confirmed focus area is the expansion of growth dungeons. Growth dungeons play a critical role in MapleStory Idle RPG by supplying materials necessary for character and equipment progression. Nexon has confirmed that growth dungeon content will be expanded with additional stages or scaling options. This is significant because it directly affects upgrade pacing and resource accessibility. These three areas, Party Quest improvements, chapter expansion, and growth dungeon expansion, are officially acknowledged by Nexon. They are not leaks, not rumors, and not community speculation. At the same time, it is equally important to clarify what has not been confirmed. There has been no official confirmation of a player-to-player trading system. There has been no confirmation of an auction house or open market economy. There has been no announcement of new playable classes. And there has been no confirmation of a large-scale PvP overhaul. Any claims suggesting that these features are definitely coming soon should be treated cautiously unless Nexon publishes formal patch notes confirming them. Now let's move into expectations. And this section is clearly labeled as analysis, not confirmation. Based on Nexon's long-term behavior across other mobile and idle RPG titles, there are several patterns that consistently repeat. First, Nexon tends to introduce permanent account-wide progression systems after initial content stabilization. These systems often include artifacts, passive bonuses, unlockable slots, or long-term growth mechanics that reward consistency rather than burst spending. Second, quality of life systems usually follow shortly after content expansions. This includes features such as presets, automation improvements, and reduced manual friction in daily gameplay. In idle RPGs specifically, these systems are critical for long-term retention. Players are more likely to remain engaged when the game respects their time investment. Third, Nexon typically supports major updates with limited time events. These events are designed to boost progression temporarily without permanently altering balance. This approach allows newer or mid-game players to catch up slightly, while still preserving long-term progression goals. What remains highly unlikely, based on Nexon's recent design philosophy, is unrestricted player trading. Idle RPGs rely on controlled progression curves, and open trading systems introduce economic instability that Nexon has actively reduced in recent years. From a business and balance perspective, this makes sense. Trade systems often encourage exploitation, account farming, and progression skipping, all of which undermine idle progression design. Now let's discuss what all of this means for players right now. If you are currently in the mid-game range, especially between levels 40 and 55, Upcoming updates are likely to benefit you more than any other group. Additional chapters and Growth Dungeon expansion directly target this stage of progression. If you are playing a late scaling class, such as Night Lord, these updates are particularly relevant. Late scaling classes benefit more from system expansions than from raw early game power increases. Improved party quest accessibility also increases efficiency for cooperative progression, which may reduce reliance on solo grinding during slower phases. For free-to-play and low-spending players, Nexon's current direction suggests an emphasis on retention and progression stability rather than aggressive pay-to-win monetization. This is an important signal. Games that rely solely on short-term monetization spikes tend to lose long-term player trust. So far, MapleStory Idle RPG appears to be prioritizing sustainable growth. To summarize everything clearly and accurately, MapleStory Idle RPG is actively receiving meaningful updates. Nexon has officially confirmed party quest improvements, chapter expansion, and growth dungeon expansion. There is currently no official confirmation of trading systems, auction houses, or new playable classes. Based on Nexon's historical patterns, the game is likely moving toward deeper mid-game systems, quality of life improvements, and long-term account progression mechanics. The most practical advice for players at this stage is straightforward. Continue progressing steadily. Avoid spending premium currency on short-term, high-variance systems. Prepare your account to benefit from permanent progression systems when they arrive. MapleStory Idle RPG is still being shaped in real time. And for players who understand that early, this phase represents not a risk, but an opportunity.